Welcome back. You're watching a KTN News special where we're exploring the effect of COVID-19 on micro, small and medium-sized enterprises ahead of the MSME Day that will be marked tomorrow, an international day that recognizes the efforts of micro, small and medium-sized enterprises. But given that this is coming against the backdrop of a pandemic, let's take a look at then how do we help these businesses stay afloat? The ones that have completely shut down, how do we help them recover? We have a panel of experts here just offering us some of the tips and speaking about the areas of their expertise and their organizations and what they are doing to help these businesses. Already, as I mentioned, we are now taking a number of your questions to be posed to our panelists. On slido.com, we have a question from Vivienne. And I think this is to MSEA CEO, Mr. Ridha, and she asks, when can we expect to have programs that mobilize financial resources and access to credit for SMEs? She says that she's in the textile and apparel sector, and so far there haven't been any such initiatives from MSEA. She also talks about resource mobilization for development of MSMEs is one of MSEA's, the authority's key mandates. Could he kindly elaborate on this? I'll let you speak to that question for Vivienne, Mr. Ridha.
Thank you very much, and that is a very, very good question. One of the things that I would wish to mention is, as an immediate intervention, both for the textile sector and generally for the MSE sector, there are ready products that would address the needs of those particular entrepreneurs. One, under the Stawisha program that I mentioned, if you went to a Kenya Industrial Estates right now, you'll be able to access funding. If you went to the IDB capital, especially for agribusiness value addition machinery, you'll be able to get, and even textile machinery. There's a very nice facility in that institution. My colleague from the ICDC has talked about the various products that they have, and all these are under the broad umbrella of the Stawisha MSC machinery program. But as an immediate measure, especially for those on the lower end, and I would want to say that this will be revolutionary, is that in a month's time, we'll be rolling out over 650 million credit facility that is, has products that will be sector biased, sector specific, so that we can be able to respond to the needs. For example, if you went to the textile sector, you'll have a product tailor-made for that particular sector. The second question, again, very interesting. Resource mobilization for the development of the micro and small enterprises sector is one of our mandates. And I would wish to mention one that we are working with development partners right now. We are working with the International Labour Organization, a component in 3 counties that is ongoing to support the MSCs in value addition. We have a facility that is very elaborate under the Kenya Youth Employment and Opportunities Program that I mentioned this year. We issue grants of over 482 million Kenya shillings to the youth, but targets to finance even new businesses through some competition that's going on right now to the tune of 1.36 billion Kenya shillings. I also did mention, and I want to repeat, that we are in discussions with the UNDP and the private sector to just unlock credit. And that is the spirit of the credit guarantee scheme that I earlier mentioned.
All right.
Thank you.
To you, Ms. Kimutai, because earlier on you said that apart from financial services, you also give non-financial services in terms of training for these enterprises. You talked about linkages, but we've generally really talked about what can these businesses to stay afloat. As I mentioned earlier, we now have new normals. From where you sit, what do you think are some of the new skill sets that owners of these businesses and those that work for them need to take up, even as we go forward? What new things do they need to come up with in a bid to survive the new normals as we go forward?
Thank you, Wandera. One of the most important things that the business customers needs to come up with is, first of all, we have to change and fast track the way we interact. The new normal will be through technology. That's for sure. And this will really assist in terms of reducing the cost of running our business, and more importantly, to be able to reach a wider market. So going forward, our businesses need to really embrace technology so that at least they can reach a wider market share. Another thing that they need to take care of is to really take care of the surviving customers. And what this means is that we really need to go out there and love the surviving customers so that at least you can increase the wallet share. What is it that they partake of your businesses, and that which is guaranteed. Another thing that they need to learn also is accept the new norms and new ideas so that at least you can be able to survive. And one of the new norms and the new strategies right now going forward is which areas are very critical for your delivery, which areas are the ones that we know going forward. As you look at e-commerce right now, what's doing so well is under food, drugs, and then the items that the ecosystem within that value chain. So these are the areas of opportunity to the future. So there will be some tweaks and changes that these new businesses have to learn and put in place so that they can survive. Finally, it is through communication. A lot of communication has to open, and there has to be a lot of interaction. And I actually invite the MSME to take advantage of the existing information outside there and the webinars, because we have to learn some new skills. It will not be the same. This is a new norm, and that's a reality.
Right.
And one fact that we must all accept is that we must change the way we've been doing some of the things. So new skills will be quite critical. People management will be quite critical. Cost management will be quite critical. And digital, in order for you to reach a wider business market and take care of the advantage. Like one thing that we currently have is a pothole. Do most of the MSMEs know that you can actually access these potholes? That's a challenge.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Technology, communication, take advantage of all the information that's out there now. There's an array of webinars around literally everything. Take advantage of that to learn any new skill sets. There's a question for you, Miss Mbithi. And Felix Muridi asks, how can ICDC help SMEs that are outside Nairobi in terms of business growth, product development, financial management, and managerial skills? How can entrepreneurs access such kind of business advice? Does ICDC have offices countrywide? Speak to us about that.
Thank you. That's a very good question. We are in the process of assisting SMEs, and we have a county outreach program in which we have been successively going to various counties. And the idea is really to go into the counties and interact with the SMEs on the ground, interact with the entrepreneurs on the ground. So although at this point in time we do not have offices on the ground, we are available to come to the ground. However, we are in the process of rolling out regional offices. We want to have an office in the coastal area. We will have an office in the mountain area, and we'll also want to have an office in the lake region area. So we are a phone call away. We can also engage technologically because, of course, going forward, as Ms. Wandera has said, there is a new normal. So with the new normal, we've also created a technological platform through which we are able to interact with SMEs in different parts of the country. So do not feel that because we do not have a physical presence on the ground that we are not available to interact. We are very available to interact, and we are willing and able to assist the SMEs in addressing the challenges that they find themselves having.
All right, we don't have too much time left. I'd like us to now go into the closing remarks. I think I'll start with you, Ms. Mbithi, so perhaps you have points you haven't said, you can finish up with that. Where do we go from here? This is a fluid situation we're dealing with coronavirus. We don't know when it will end. We have after effects to suffer from. Economic recovery is going to be painful and will take a very long time. Where do we go from here?
What I would say is that let's take this point in time to review our businesses and to see, going forward, is there still a market niche for that business as it is structured? If not, what else can that business do? Can it repurpose and look into a different direction?
All right.
Can it grow other streams of income? And then also, let's look and see what opportunities are coming up. With the Africa Free Trade Area, we have a continent-wide market of 1.2 billion people. When we look at the COMESA region, when we look at the East African region, we have a market. What can we do? And let's not limit ourselves to looking within our borders, because we have products that can be produced that can be accessed in different parts of the continent and even of the world. And even as the world begins to look at how does it reduce its reliance on China for production, then those are opportunities that are coming our way.
You're right.
What can we do as SMEs in this country to be able to access those businesses out there? I would say that opportunities are far and wide. Let's take this time to think through them, to strategize, and to put our strategic plans in place so that we can access those businesses.
Great. Mr. Ridha, your closing remarks. This pandemic has exposed the challenges in the MSME sector. Coming from the Micro and Small Enterprise Authority, what do we expect to see?
Thank you very much. And I like it when you call it the new normal. The first thing that must happen under the new normal is that we have learned that we must know where our businesses are located or domiciled. We must have the information and the profiles of our entrepreneurs so that the response period is not as long as it has been. We should invest in a lot of data so that we can be able to know where our people are, what their needs are, and respond within the shortest time possible. That will also enable the financial institutions and other intermediaries to get in. Secondly, we must realize that we are very integrated. Well, we might have been ignoring that, so that then the formal business sector, the formal manufacturing sector, must invest in the small entrepreneurs so that the value chain can be completed. We must have arrangements of franchising so that these people can produce and so that we can localize our production. Thirdly, it is very, very important for the micro and small enterprises sector to move towards being formal so that then the government can be able to create the structures that really fit your needs, because when we don't know what you do, where you are, we have a challenge. So we are investing, as we speak, in a state-of-the-art MIS system through the Office of the Registrar that will be able to capture that. And finally, for the MSEs, not much is lost. It is an opportunity for us to look within ourselves and see the business opportunities, and we must go digital so that we can do our business 24 hours, even if the physical market is closed.
All right. Let's take the closing remarks from Anastasia Kimtai from the banking sector, and it's also one of the sectors that have been largely affected, and one that many are looking up to just help them stay afloat in this period. Do we expect any new policies around this and interventions, even as we continue to deal with this pandemic?
Thank you so much, Wandera, and our panelists. The most important thing is that this pandemic has given us an opportunity to catalyze our MSMEs, and all of us need to take advantage of this. The second aspect is that we are aware that the MSME create employment even at the rural areas. And then finally, we are aware that MSMEs do touch the youth and the women. So we are at the table and inviting all the like-minded partners for us to use this pandemic as an opportunity to catalyze the MSMEs. In fact, at this particular time, when we talk about private-public partnership, this is the right time that as the government set out new policies, the private segments needs to come to the table to actually enable and crystallize this so that our people, can be able to run their business. I think there is no other opportune time like now that we can actually be able to bring dignity back to our people through enabling our MSMEs. And yes, you'll be seeing a lot of changes, a lot of new products and services as we listen to the need of our customers, because all these solutions are directed in resolving the customer pain areas. So you'll be seeing a lot of that from us as KCB, and we do encourage our customers to interact interact with us, engage with us, so that the kind of solutions that you are going to be rolling out in the market does speak to their needs, so that when we come back Wandera 1 year time, we can be able to come back here and celebrate that you've transformed the lives of our businesses.
Right.
Thank you.
And I hope we do this again next year, 27th June. See, perhaps maybe we'll be having a different conversation. Thank you very much for joining us tonight on this KTN special edition around the MSMEs and the COVID-19 impact on these businesses. Tonight we had Ms. Mbatha Mbithi, the head of marketing ICDC, Mr. Henry Ridha, MSEA CEO, as well as Mrs. Anastasia Kimtai, Director Retail Banking, KCB Bank Kenya Limited. Thank you to our panelists, and for you who engaged us and watched us here tonight. We're glad you would join us. I want to leave you with Guy Ryder, the International Labour Organization Director, as he spoke. He spoke as the world marks the World MSME Day tomorrow. Let's listen to his message as we wrap it up. My name is Akisa Wandera. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Well, Micro, Small and Medium-Sized Enterprise Day celebrates the role that the smallest enterprises play in providing jobs and livelihoods for billions of people. According to the ILO's figures, 7 out of 10 jobs are to be found in self-employment and in micro and small enterprises, and there's an even higher share than that in most emerging economies, so small really does matter. With the world facing an unprecedented global economic and social crisis because of the effects of COVID-19, MSMEs everywhere continue to be crucial to securing and creating jobs. A key task for the ILO is to help ensure that those jobs not only generate incomes and livelihoods, but also provide a safe workplace with decent working conditions. We need to support MSMEs as we build back from the crisis to a better and to a safer future. And it's also our role to help ensure that workers can safely return to their workplaces.